What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a ton of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Do you guys remember Unreal Tournament, a game that was very popular in its time and then all of a sudden kind of completely disappeared off the face of gaming? Let's talk about what happened to Unreal Tournament, guys. So for those of you, just as a refresher, Unreal Tournament is a first-person shooter video game developed by Epic Games, or I should say games because it was a number of Unreal games that had come out. And the first release, guys, was in 1998. And they had a number of different Unreal tournaments that had come out within this series, of course. And so what was really cool about this series and this franchise, guys, not only was it called Unreal Tournament, which was just a really sick name back then, but on top of that, Unreal Engine, which is what Epic Games pretty much uses to this very day, the technology used is called Unreal. So it was really neat that it kind of went hand in hand, similar to like Crytek. They make the Crytek engine and Crysis and how that all kind of intertwines with one another. This is another one of those kind of similar in nature. So we had, of course, Unreal and then Unreal Tournament, which came out in 1999, a year after. And then it seemed, guys, that we were getting pretty consistent Unreal Tournament games. You had Unreal Tournament in 2003, Unreal Championship, Unreal 2 The Awakening. Then, of course, Unreal Tournament 2004, Unreal Championship 2, Unreal Tournament 3, and then last but not least was Unreal Tournament Pre-Alpha, which is pretty much to be announced whenever that's going to be coming out. But where is Unreal Tournament 4? That's the big question, guys. I want to talk about kind of, what might transpire with Unreal Tournament 4, because pretty much from 1998 to 2007 is where we had those games, and it was pretty consistent. We were having a decent amount of those games come out, very popular, and it was very strange to see, Epic Games kind of shifting, not really making more of these games. Well, in an article, guys, that was written by Isaiah Mayerson of TechSpot, he says, when asked by Variety about the impact the new Epic Games Store and Fortnite were having on older projects like Unreal Tournament, Epic CEO and founder Tim Sweeney tactfully said they were dead. Unreal Tournament remains available in the store, but isn't actively being developed. We've recently worked with GOG on making classic Epic Games titles available, and we're planning to bring more of them to the store in their original glory. Unreal Tournament comprises a series of games that were born from a collaboration between Epic Games and Digital Extremes in 1999. A popular and beloved sci-fi multiplayer shooter, the game's strong fanbase has seen its development continue for nearly 20 years. The ninth installment in the series was supposed to be a free version of the game, developed in collaboration with the community. The reboot was confusingly named just Unreal Tournament, and now will never leave its pre-alpha stage, but will remain available for die-hard fans to play and mod. So look, here's what we can pretty much say about it, guys, is it looks like Epic Games isn't working on Unreal Tournament 4, which is really unfortunate. They're more focused on, obviously, other things, other, projects. Fortnite, of course, is their biggest game at this point, so they're really putting all their eggs into that basket, which is really unfortunate. I wish that they would sell the IP or would, give like another, developer or, kind of a chance at or a crack at making or continuing the Unreal Tournament games. Many fans have been left disappointed or even angry, but none were surprised. When Unreal Tournament was announced in 2014, it was only given a handful of developers and was marketed as a free developer community collaboration project. It received its last update in July of last year. Even if you haven't played any Unreal Tournament games, you're more than likely felt their influence in many other shooters that came after it. Fortnite's Battle Royale mode was conceived and developed by the Unreal Tournament team. Despite their original intentions of returning back to UT, they were kept too busy by the rapid success of Fortnite that they were never able to return to the classic title. So, like I said, guys, Fortnite really kind of was on the takeover, and at that point, you had pretty much everybody else who was working on any other projects over at Epic Games was basically put all on Fortnite at that point in time. Now, Fortnite starting to kind of, we're starting to see it had its massive, spike in player base and player counts. And now it's gone down a little bit with other games and other competition coming out. So I don't know if they're going to keep all hands on deck with Fortnite, or if they're going to start moving and shifting around to other, titles and such, which I think would be really smart for Epic Games to start working on some other stuff as well, at least some initial concepts. Unreal Tournament would be a great idea, and I think an Unreal Tournament 4 would do absolutely incredibly well, especially on the next-gen consoles as they come out. There aren't a lot of people to spare, admitted Unreal Tournament community manager Stacey Connolly, though some have turned away from the title. Many fans have reaffirmed their commitment to co-developing the title through extensive mods. Without access to the unfinished base code, however, the game will always be unstable. In 10 years, we'll look back at these tough times playing UT Alpha and laugh because we'll still be playing the UT Alpha, joked Reddit user Azurd. It's a shame, though, guys, to see Epic close the book on such a beloved title, but it's still worth the free download. So, look, yeah, it's free to play, but here's the thing, guys. I think all of us, and I can speak for myself at least, that we would love to see Unreal Tournament return and continue. I think it's a franchise, like so many that we've talked about on the YouTube channel up to this point, that deserve, to have continuations of, deserve to coexist with all these other games and other shooters that are out there in the gaming landscape. Why can't there be an Unreal Tournament? So I'd like to see if Epic Games is just going to let it just go into a limbo state and completely just let it, so to speak, die. Why not sell the IP to another company that is willing to at least give it a try and kind of really give this game, a fresh breath of new life? That would be absolutely awesome. But at this point, guys, I think Unreal Tournament 4 is kind of just a thought that would be really awesome, but something that they are certainly not working on over at Epic Games. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What would you guys want to see in Unreal Tournament 4? Should that game ever come out? Let me know in that comment section below. And for more Unreal Tournament 4 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about Haze and this first-person shooter that garnered a ton of negativity around the reception for the game, and there's been a lot of talks, of course, in the past here of will Haze ever return, and we talked about that. Well, in this current video, I want to talk about Haze 2 and where this game is, and could this game potentially come out at some point in the future, because if you're a fan of this game and you want to see the franchise continue, not all hope is completely lost. So let's talk about it. And in a post, guys, from Stein-Ing Kuminjae on Quora, he actually posted, will there be a Haze 2 since the game had been released for almost 10 years? And he responded to this question that was brought out of another user on Quora. He says, besides the reasons Howard Dapper mentioned before me, the main reason there won't be a sequel is because the studio behind it, Free Radical Entertainment, went bankrupt. What little remains of the studio was bought by Crytek, including the rights for the games. But Crytek hasn't even shown interest in making sequels to Free Radical's only successful franchise, Time Splitters, so it's highly unlikely we'll see a Haze sequel, as that game was their least successful game. So that being said, okay, if you go on to, of course, Haze's official, on the Wikipedia page, and you look at the developer was Free Radical Design, publisher was Ubisoft. But if you click on the developer Free Radical Design, guys, actually turned into Crytek UK, because what happened was Free Radical Design was actually dissolved. There was a lot of layoffs and things of that nature, and Crytek UK became Free Radical. So the guys who made Crysis, the guys who also have made Hunt Showdown, now have Free Radical's team, but they also have pretty much all the IPs that Free Radical were working on. That being Time Splitters, that being Haze, amongst others. So what I think that what we can look at here, right, is that not only did they work on Time Splitters 2, basically pretty much those were the main games that they worked on, right? And then of course they also worked on Second Sight and Haze in 2008. Haze was the last project that they worked on before becoming Crytek UK, which when they became Crytek UK, they worked on Crysis 2, they worked on Crysis 3, as well as Warface. So here's the thing. Is Haze, completely something that would never happen. You can never say never, guys, because this was the last game that they worked on as a company before they moved into Crytek UK. And they've been working on some of these other games like Crysis and Warface, and obviously Time Splitters is one that a lot of people would like to see return as well. But Haze as a whole, I think that there's a possibility that Crytek may have just, picked up all the IPs and picked up Free Radical Design just for the actual, the people that were working there, right, to help out with Crysis and, of course, Warface as well. But I think that we can also look at this and think to ourselves, look, Free Radical Design is known for a couple of things, and Haze, guys, had so much potential, and obviously, I think that there were a lot of things that went wrong with Haze. However, I think if they were to bring it back, give it a second chance, and you have Crytek that's there to back them with the Crytek engine and so on and so forth, I really think that this could be something special. So I would never say never, and don't ever say never to things of this nature, because you never know how these things can turn into something. Could a Time Splitters, like a sequel to Time Splitters, ever come out? Absolutely. I don't think anyone is denying that there's a possibility. Now, there's 2 canceled games from Free Radical Design, that being Star Wars Battlefront 3 and Time Splitters 4. Now, Battlefront 3 most likely is going to be coming out at some point or another, obviously. Now, Time Splitters 4, that's, a big question mark. Who knows if that's ever going to come out. But I think a Haze 2 is certainly something that could potentially come out because Time Splitters 4 was canceled. So that being said, guys, I want to hear from all of you, though. Do you think that because now Free Radical Design is owned by Crytek and they are now Crytek UK, that we could potentially see some of those IPs that Free Radical Design worked on in the past, could those come back to life at some point in the future, being Time Splitters, or more specifically for this video, Haze and a sequel to it? Look, at this point, Haze 2 is a distant memory, or really, Haze as a whole is a distant memory. But I would never say never that a Haze 2 could never come out. You never know, guys. I want to hear from all of you in the comment section below. What would you want to see in a Haze 2? Let me know what you guys think. And for more Haze 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. A game I've been looking forward to ever since its announcement was Rainbow Six Quarantine, a game that looks like it could be very interesting and something that could be absolutely terrifying as well. And Rainbow Six kind of taking this approach could be something really special at the same time. So let's talk about everything that we know so far about the game. In an article that was written by Jordan Forward of PC Games, looking for all the latest on the Rainbow Six Quarantine release date. The announcement wasn't met with universal anticipation. However, as many fans of the older Rainbow Six game had their fingers crossed for a return to good old-fashioned Team Rainbow versus single-player experience, still you can't please everyone, and a fully fledged version of Quarantine with a storyline, heaps of operators, new monsters, maps, and some of its own bespoke mechanics has the potential to fill a void in games that's not had fresh blood since Left 4 Dead 2. Even though Back 4 Blood is going to be coming out as well, guys, at some point in the near future from Turtle Rock Studios, which is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, this could be something really interesting for sure. With only a few pieces of information to go on, we picked through everything we know about Siege, the Rainbow Six universe, and of course, Rainbow Six Quarantine. Now, the release date. The Rainbow Six Quarantine release date has been pushed back from its early 2020 window alongside several other Ubisoft titles. The decision was made following the poor performance of Ghost Recon Breakpoint and was announced during a post-results conference call. All of the delayed Ubisoft games should still be out in 2020, so the latest Rainbow Six Quarantine release date is simply 2020. Now, with the things going on currently in the world, guys, with, of course, the pandemic and such, there's a chance that Rainbow Six Quarantine might actually be pushed back even further, potentially. I would say it's still probably going to come out late 2020, around the fall, at some point or another. Maybe they push it back, though, to maybe try to have it as one of those launch titles with the Xbox Series X and the PS5. That would be something very interesting. Now, in terms of concrete details, there really isn't much we can say for sure about the Rainbow Six Quarantine gameplay. However, there are some hefty hints in the store description of the game as well as what we already know about Outbreak. So we have a rough idea of how this new Rainbow Six Zombie game may very well work. Firstly, we know that Quarantine is a tactical first-person shooter where you face off against a variety of alien monsters as a team of 3. In the trailer, you can see 2 operators from Rainbow Six Siege, Ela and Vigil, helping the main character up, so we know there will be some crossover with Siege, even if the timelines of the 2 games are totally separate. The choice of Vigil and Ela is curious too, as neither of their gadgets would be especially helpful against mutated aliens. This could suggest that gadgets will not play a primary role in operator loadouts, or that operators won't be the core focus of the game. It's worth noting, however, that both Ela and Vigil appear to carry the game same primary weapons as they do in Siege. Now, I want this, in my opinion, I would like Quarantine to be completely separate from that of Rainbow Six Siege. That's at least my opinion, guys. I want it to be a completely separate thing. I hope they have a story mode, kind of, with Rainbow Six Siege, of course, there wasn't story modes, it was just kind of like operator missions. I'd like to see an actual full-fledged story here. I think this would be absolutely awesome. I also am kind of curious as to if there's going to be like different game modes with Quarantine, like you'll be able to do PvP as well as PvE, or you're just going to be able to play co-op. You know, how is this going to really be like? Look, for me personally, I'd love to be able to kind of like Gears of War, be able to go up like as far as like a horde mode, going up against waves and waves of enemies like aliens and such. I think would be really cool in Quarantine. I also think having, like I said, a full-fledged story and then some co-op stuff to really keep you coming back to the game, I think that would be absolutely awesome. Now, the trailer also shows a black inky substance coursing through the main character's arm with a beeping timer attached to their wrist. This part's a mystery, but it certainly doesn't remind us of Outbreak. Onto the store description, which says that Rainbow Six Quarantine is set a few years in the future from the Rainbow Six universe and features a deadly new breed of mutated alien parasite that infects human hosts as well as their surroundings. There are a few nods to potential roguelike mechanics and possibly even procedurally generated levels, with the description warning us to prepare to launch into tense, chaotic, and totally unpredictable missions as you and your squad risk everything every time you step into Quarantine. Now, the beta, guys, while it's not being called the beta officially, Ubisoft has said there will be a chance to play Rainbow Six Quarantine early, which sounds a lot like a Quarantine beta to us. Now, so far, we have 2 official videos from Ubisoft. The first is the E3 2019 teaser trailer for Rainbow Six Quarantine, while the second part is a short explanation of the teaser by the Quarantine developers. So, pretty much, guys, there's only so much that we can go on with Quarantine. All we can really say at this point is that it's coming. At some point or another, it is coming. It looks like this is going to be something that could be really cool for this space, especially it being Rainbow Six, right? I mean, I've talked on the YouTube channel where we want like a Rainbow Six Vegas 2 and having like continuations of some of these sub-series within Rainbow Six. And I never really thought that Quarantine would be a thing. You know, Outbreak was a cool game mode for a period of time, but having a completely new game, Rainbow Six Quarantine, I'm just wondering if this is just going to be kind of like a side kind of story almost within Rainbow Six Siege, kind of like almost like an expansion to Rainbow Six Siege more than anything, or is this going to be completely its own thing? It sounds like it's going to be its own thing, and I hope that means we're going to get a story because we really didn't get one in Rainbow Six Siege. I hope this means that we have multiple different ways that we can connect within Quarantine, like where it's not just, oh, you play this, you know, for a little bit with your friends and then you'll end up going back to Rainbow Six Siege anyway. Like, I hope this isn't one of those things like they're just trying to bait you into playing Siege. I hope that this is just completely its own thing, and that's what it sounds like it is, at least at this point. Now, it does look like it sounds like there's potentially some crossovers between this and Siege. But like I said, I think the big thing is that it's separate, has a story mode, has multiple co-op modes, and even some multiplayer aspects as well. I think that would be absolutely awesome. But let me know what you guys think about Rainbow Six Quarantine and what it is that you guys would want to see in this game. For me, it's as many ways as we can connect with this franchise as possible, and within Quarantine, of course, as well, whether that be co-op, multiplayer, and a campaign. But let me know what you guys want in Rainbow Six Quarantine in the comment section below. And for more Rainbow Six Quarantine content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.